The girl in the video blinked, and that was the moment Inspector Adam Kovac realized something was deeply wrong, because according to every official record, Elena Varga had already been dead for 6 months. The footage in front of him was supposed to be the last known recording of her alive, a simple security clip taken inside her apartment. Something routine, something ordinary, something that should have ended the moment she disappeared. But it didn't end. It continued. And worse than that, it changed. At first, Adam thought it was a glitch. He had seen corrupted files before, delayed frames, distorted playback, the kind of technical issues that made investigators question what they were looking at. But this was different. The video wasn't broken. It was too clean, too precise. Elena sat on the floor facing the wall, her back slightly hunched, her arms resting loosely at her sides, completely still. There was no movement in the room, no shifting shadows, no flickering lights, nothing that suggested anything unusual. And yet, something about it felt wrong in a way he couldn't immediately explain. He leaned closer to the screen and replayed the footage again, then again, each time focusing on a different detail: her shoulders, her breathing, her hands. Nothing changed, nothing moved, until he focused on her eyes. That's when he saw it. Not a natural blink, not the quick reflex of a human body. It was slow, deliberate, almost mechanical, as if something inside her was deciding when to move, rather than responding instinctively. The eyelids lowered, paused, then lifted again, but the timing was off. Slightly delayed, slightly unnatural, like a signal being processed rather than a body reacting. Adam paused the video immediately, rewound it, watched it again. The same blink, same delay, same unnatural rhythm. That wasn't the worst part, because when he checked the timestamp, the moment didn't align with the recording's actual duration. The file should have ended seconds earlier. According to the system, the camera had already stopped recording, and yet Elena was still there, still sitting, still blinking. Adam felt something shift in his chest. Not fear, exactly, not yet, but something close. Something that told him this wasn't just a missing person case anymore. Elena Varga was 19 years old when she disappeared. A university student with no history of conflict, no suspicious connections, no reason to vanish. Her neighbors described her as quiet, almost invisible, the kind of person who moved through life without drawing attention. She attended classes, returned home, and kept to herself. The day she disappeared, nothing unusual had been reported. No noise, no visitors, no disturbance. Her apartment door had been locked from the inside. That detail alone had troubled investigators at the time, but now it felt like something else entirely. Adam reopened the full case file, this time reading it not as a routine disappearance, but as something incomplete, something overlooked. The initial search had been thorough. Every room examined, every surface checked. No signs of struggle, no broken furniture, no forced entry. Just an empty space where a person had once been. Except one detail: her phone was missing. Not damaged, not found, gone. Adam stared at that line longer than the others, because it meant someone, or something, had been inside that room after the recording, or during it. He requested the building's hallway footage again. Hours of recordings played in front of him, each frame as quiet and uneventful as the last. People passed occasionally. Doors opened and closed. Nothing stood out, until one moment. The camera flickered, just for a second, then again. And during that brief interruption, something appeared, a shape, standing directly outside Elena's door. It didn't move, didn't knock, didn't shift its position. It simply stood there, waiting. Then the footage stabilized, and it was gone. But the door was slightly open. Adam didn't say anything. He didn't call anyone, he didn't log the discovery, because something about this felt like it needed to be seen, not reported. That night, he went to the apartment alone. The building was quiet, almost unnaturally so, like it had been emptied of more than just people. He unlocked the door slowly and stepped inside, closing it behind him with a soft click that echoed louder than it should have. The room hadn't changed. Same layout, same silence, same stillness. He placed his recording device on a nearby surface and sat down in the same position Elena had been in the footage, facing the same wall, aligning himself with the exact angle captured in the video. At first, nothing happened. Minutes passed, then more. The silence stretched, pressing against his ears. And then, a sound. Soft. Behind him. Not from the hallway, not from outside, from inside. The room. Adam's body tensed, but he didn't move immediately. Instead, he listened, trying to understand it, to place it, to explain it. But there was no explanation. Then the air changed. It felt colder, denser, like something unseen had entered the space. He turned slowly and stopped, because something was there. Not fully visible, not clear enough to describe, but present. Watching. For a fraction of a second it remained still, then it moved, fast, too fast, and vanished. Adam stood up immediately, heart racing now, no longer controlled, no longer calm. He grabbed the recording device and looked at the screen, and that's when the reality broke. The device wasn't showing what was happening, it was delayed, by a few seconds. On the screen, he was still sitting, facing the wall, not moving, while in reality, he was already standing, already turning, already reacting. He watched himself on the screen, then that version of him blinked, slowly, unnaturally, before he did. Adam froze, because now it wasn't just Elena, it was him. The recorded version turned its head, looked directly into the camera, and smiled. Adam dropped the device instantly. The screen flickered, then went dark. The room returned to silence, but it wasn't the same silence anymore. Elena Varga was never found. The case was eventually closed, unresolved, filed away, forgotten by most, but not by everyone. Years later, the footage was reviewed again by another officer, someone who had no connection to the original case, no emotional involvement, no expectations. And even then, something stood out. In the reflection behind Elena, a shape, faint, watching, waiting, and blinking. Slowly. Not like a human, not like something alive, but like something learning how to be. So now think about this. If a video showed you something that hadn't happened yet, would you keep watching? Or would you stop before it? Learned too much? If this story made you feel even slightly uncomfortable, don't just scroll away. Like the video, subscribe, and tell me honestly in the comments. If you saw yourself in a recording doing something you hadn't done yet, would you trust your reality or the version that's already watching you? Because maybe it's not recording the past. Maybe it's practicing the future.